everyone, and welcome back. This is the co-hosted show series called Complete Feng Shui, where I co-host with amazing Feng Shui and Chinese Astrology practitioner Michele Castle. But before we get on with the show, just a reminder, if you're listening live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch or Twitter, we have Peo and Hannah waiting online, ready to answer your questions, provide you with links about anything that we talked to today. You can also go onto the tonylontis.com website, look under co-hosts, and you will find lots of information about Complete Feng Shui with all the links to books, links to tips, and how to connect with Michele directly. A reminder too that all of the live shows are available not only on YouTube but Binge Networks TV USA, Hero Go TV USA, and the Tony TV channel app on Roku, LG and Samsung. And in the future, we are going to be adding another network to that plethora of places that you can watch shows and catch up. Now, each week we do a welcome to country, and it goes a little bit like this. I respectfully acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language region, Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, the traditional owners of the land on which we broadcast and meet, and pay my respect to the elders past and present, all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today, listening and watching online. Now, these shows, and this is the fourth in our series of Complete Feng Shui shows, and I get to talk to the gorgeous Michele Castle, who is a Feng Shui Master and an advanced teacher and scholar in metaphysics, majoring in Chinese Astrology. Michele has successfully navigated the Feng Shui industry for over 20 years, mastering in a deep understanding of the multi-layered science behind the practice of Feng Shui. Michele has taught Feng Shui and Chinese Astrology and Metaphysical Studies for Silk Road Asian Studies at Curtin University here in Australia, and has worked extensively on interiors, renovations and emerging businesses and established enterprises across the globe. Her work can be done virtually from anywhere and to any place across the world. Through many years of practicing and consulting, Michele has now become an author and a public speaker and brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to this series. Welcome back to the show, Michele.
Hello. Nice to see everybody again. Hello.
I like the painting that you've got in the background today, and
Yes.
each week Michele brings something different. So what is it about this one that's behind you today?
Well, this one is actually a Buddha, and as you can see, it's very bright orange. So it is a combination with the gold and the black in it and the orange of the actual earth and metal element. So it's very much, and metal is, earth is the element that gives life to metal, and earth is obviously very grounding, and Buddhas are always calming. So I just love my Buddha paintings. I have many of them throughout my home. Buddhas can actually be really used within a home too, to still and calm arguments. So if you actually have an argumentative pocket within your room or within your home, then place an actual symbol of the Buddha, or you can place a Buddha painting within that area.
Is there something calming about rubbing a Buddha's belly?
I think probably more so for the person that's rubbing the belly. I think you actually buy into the manifestation and the symbolization that that you're going to tap into the Buddha's luck by actually rubbing their belly. I'm not sure. I don't tend to wander around my house and rub all my Buddha paintings. I tend to just look at them and go,
that's lovely.
It's very much it's protection and it's calm. And of the Buddha also, different Buddhas have different symbolizations. So you can have like a medicine Buddha, you can have your wealth Buddha, you can also have like the red Buddha, particularly is to stop arguments. So Buddhas have many and varied meanings depending on the look of the Buddha.
Oh, okay. So I thought that I'd start the show with a quick recap of how Feng Shui works and why it aligns so well with Chinese astrology. And then we're going to get into Feng Shui and Chinese astrology for April, which is really interesting. But
Mhm.
can you tell us just how Feng Shui works and how why it aligns with Chinese astrology so well?
Well, everything around you is energy. Like you're connected by energy from the stars, the moon, the tides, the elements within the environment. So the basis of feng shui and the basis of Chinese astrology is coming back to the five elements of water, wind, fire, earth, and metal. And these elements are around you throughout your home, throughout your environment, and all the way around the world. So both feng shui and Chinese astrology, after you look at your environment and what is externally outside of your home, you can break your feng shui down to the elements within your home and how those elements are performing from one
Yeah,
day to month to year to the next actually tells a
changes.
story with our feng shui and particularly with our Chinese astrology. So it's quite an
Ah,
analytical point of view. Feng Shui has nothing to do, and Chinese astrology is totally analytical. It's not clairvoyant in any way.
I know,
So
it's
we're
fascinating that it's that.
yeah, we're actually reading the pattern of the elements. So the elements for this year, which is a triple tiger year, was
Mm,
exactly the same placement of elements back in 1962. So if you did some research and you looked at what was happening around the world from
in
a political,
1962.
from a people, from a war point of view, from a health, and also from the environment, from natural disasters and weather, you could actually go, okay, well, that happened in 1962. So we actually have a repeat of that energy this year. So it'll be very, very similar.
Ah, okay. One of the factors that I've read about and I read lots of Michelle's stuff because it's fascinating. It talks about three factors that impact on your life: heaven luck, man luck, and earth luck. Can you
Yes.
explain those for us, please, Michelle?
Okay. So heaven luck is actually classed as your date of birth, which is called either the four pillars of destiny,
Mm-hmm.
Bartzi or Pachi, depending which master you actually study under or which master you follow.
Ah,
But it is actually it comes back to the four pillars, and the four pillars is your year, your month, your day, and your hour. And in the year, month, day, and hour, you have an element and also an animal sitting within that particular pocket or sector for your life. And that comes down to your destiny luck. So heaven is your destiny luck. It's the cards that you're dealt with at birth. It's your date of birth. And that is 33% of your luck overall within your life. So how
mm,
you're performing will often come down to your heaven luck. So it's the skills that you've been given
mm-hmm.
at birth. Then you have the next 33% of luck is classed as earth luck. And your earth luck would actually be your home environment. So that is actually your home. It's
Ah,
the country that you choose to live in, which part of the country you choose to live in. So it's the environmental aspects of what is actually around you, which comes down to your choice of home or building, be it an apartment or a landed property. So that once again is another 33% of your luck. Then we have what we class as man luck. And man luck is the 34% of luck that is remaining. And it's the
mm,
combination of looking at your heaven luck and your earth luck. So it's really free will. It's knowing what to do with your chart, what are your characteristics and how you are performing from one year to the next, and how is the environment and your home around you performing from one year to the next, so that you
mm.
can tap into your man luck, which really is free will. It's knowledge and free will.
So, if you, for instance, if you're born into not great family circumstances and you recognize that at an age that you can recognize it, you can change part of your life trajectory by changing where you live and then utilizing concepts from feng shui. So,
Yes.
that whole nurture versus nature conversation is actually backed up by feng shui.
Well, it is, yes, because
Yeah.
if you have a look at your characteristics and your aspects and your capabilities, if you're aware of those from a teenager or in your early 20s, you can then actually
Yes.
make different choices. So it's quite interesting. But then a lot of those characteristics do come into emotions. So a
Mm.
lot of what we do is based on thoughts, feelings, and emotions. So if we're not actually willing to face, like a pig, as an example, a
Uh-huh.
pigs are great at holding money, they're great at holding cash flow, but they do have a tendency to go, woe is me, I'm hard done by, nobody likes me. So a
Yeah.
pig may not actually have a lot of self-growth because they might get stuck in the mud as such and go,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, well, these are the cards that I'm dealt and this is what I'm just going to have to do. Where
Yeah.
another animal, like maybe a rabbit, who is into growing and interchanging because they're of the wood element, will actually take on the skills and evolve that little bit more. So it's the combination, and it is free will, very much free will, but it
Mm.
comes down
Mm.
to whether you will actually go above your raising as such, or whether you will just settle with the hands that you're dealt.
Yeah. Michelle, we mentioned just quickly at the start of the show that this year is a triple water tiger year. I know we've talked about that before, but can you just briefly give us some of the elements that we might find across a triple water tiger year? And then I want to get into April.
Okay, so the way that we read it as a triple tiger year
Yeah.
is we're actually looking at the complete 4 pillar of destiny chart for the year that was established on the first day of the Hissa calendar, which is in fact Chinese New Year. And
Mm.
this year, Chinese New Year fell in a tiger year, in a tiger month, on a rat day, and in fact in a tiger hour. So that gives us the triple tiger within the
Oh.
chart. So the year performs very much like your own personal chart performs. The elements
Mm.
and the animals and the aspects and characteristics that are in place at that time will forecast how the world will actually be affected, how people will feel, how they will perform, also how our weather will perform, how our politics
Mm.
will perform, how the people movement will perform. So if
Yeah.
we look at the triple tiger year, the tiger in essence is a wood element, and it's actually a water year, but the tiger has wood actually sitting and seated within itself, because the tiger is a wood tiger, and then the tiger changes can be one of 5 elements. So this year is a water year, so it makes it a water tiger. So with all this wood within the chart, because we have 3 tigers within the chart, we have over 3 elements of wood, and wood is very much about movement and change. It's very much about growth.
Mm.
But wood within itself, if you break down wood, wood actually also represents wind. So that means that we have major winds of change in 2022.
I
So that
see.
is seen in like the first term, the second term, and also the last term or quarter of the year as well, because that's very
Mm.
much where the wood is actually sitting. Now, having so much wood within a yearly chart will also tip over the inclement weather. So if we have wood and
Floods.
we mix wood, yeah, we mix with wood with water, all of a sudden we have flooding. And we have a lot of
I
wind and we have a lot of
see.
rain. So that kind of tips over the element. And also because it's a water tiger, we have 4 elements of water in this
Yep.
year's chart as well. So
That's a lot
water
of
is
water.
it's a lot of water, and water usually is very free flowing. It's about freedom. It's about movement.
Mm.
It can actually bring in a lot of emotions and a lot of fears. So
Mm.
we're very fearful within our energy. And it will also bring in that huge influx of water as well. So the same first term,
Yay.
second term, and fourth term or quarter, we have that combination of water and wood right throughout the year. So we have sudden movement and sudden change, which makes our weather very inclement around the world. We don't have a lot of fire within the chart, so the fire is actually missing. And fire will actually represent hope. So it means we're kind of caught in this feeling of despair and caught in this feeling of being overwhelmed because of the water, and because of such quick, sudden change, it kind of it throws out people. It means we're not actually very grounded. We don't feel very grounded. We kind of have to keep expecting the unexpected. Just as we think it's settled and everything's okay, all of a sudden we have something major comes through and hits us once again.
So part of dealing with that chaotic unrest and all that water would be actually making a conscious effort to ground ourselves,
yes,
whatever
definitely.
that means in your life.
Yes.
Walking on ground.
Yeah, so we do definitely need to ground this year. We need to have faith, I suppose. This type of energy also taps in and brings in a lot of spirituality. It means there's certain animals, particularly the snake and the dragon, will actually look a lot more towards spirituality within themselves. So it makes us re-evaluate our thoughts and our feelings and emotions.
Yeah.
If we're willing to do so, of course.
So there's a lot going on in 2022.
Yes.
Lots of changes, and you can actually see that playing out, can't you, Michelle? Like
you can. It is actually a major year energy wise. Probably far more major than the last 2 or 3 years. We thought 220 was hard. We thought 221 was hard. We kind of pivot in 2022. As such, the world
good.
Elements.
That's good to know.
Bottom. Yeah. We pivot. We finally tend to, from a world point of view, we hit rock bottom, which means once we've hit rock bottom, there's only one way, and that's actually up. But unfortunately, hitting rock bottom really tests us.
Not going to be
really
fun.
Makes us look at really what is important to us.
Yeah.
Water, although having said that, water for this year is actually classed as the element of cash flow. So that means there is a lot of money actually around, which is kind of surprising. So if you're a water element, or you have a lot of water in your 4 pillar of destiny chart, that means you're one of the lucky people that can tap into your money. But the money is actually all about working for your money. It's classed as direct wealth. So you have a job, you work the hours, you'll make money. There's not a lot of handouts. You kind of have to put in the time this year to receive the income. And we can see that with our government here in Australia. The handouts have stopped.
Just thinking,
Yeah. It's like, no, you have to actually work for it. And that's, I think, across the board around the world.
Yeah. In thinking about April, what can we expect from April? It's got a wood dragon element. Is that correct?
It is, yes. So the month of April, and April actually started yesterday. So the Chinese Astrology's months start between about the 3rd
Oh,
and
that's
the 8th.
encouraging. Man, that's encouraging.
So it starts between the 3rd and the 8th. So the Wood Dragon month actually started on the 5th of April. So that was yesterday. So we're only going to now start experiencing dragon energy. The dragon is...
Tell me that's good.
Well, hopefully, yes, hopefully for some. My daughter tells me my job is to sell hope. Which is very trying in these types of difficult times. But the dragon is always quite immense within their energy. Like, dragons are very charismatic. They're very bold.
Yes.
Very similar to the tiger. They're quite persuasive. The dragon is always said to, like, shake the cave, break open the ground. So dragons are extremely good in business, and they're very forthright. They're very charming, and they actually feed a lot on ego. So we will actually find a lot sitting on ego for this month, because the dragon likes its ego to be stroked. It actually likes to be seen, and it likes to be noticed. Dragon. Yeah,
Just got a vision of a dragon being stroked.
stroking his ego, and particularly a wood dragon, because the wood element is very important, that the wood element is noticed and is seen. And you'll notice that in nearly everything this year, there's a lot of noise. So the wood element within itself always needs to be seen. It needs its ego to be stroked. You'll find even self-element wood people, or if you have a lot of wood within your chart, you're the type of person that will always check your hair every time there's a mirror, or if you walk past a window, you'll always be checking how you look. So this is very much wood. Wood is also very much about growth. So the dragon does bring growth, and it brings very quick, sudden change and movement for the year within the dragon's energy. The dragon is in a position of current prosperity. So that growth will actually come to fruition with cash flow as well. We're still sitting in that first quarter. So there is still a fair amount of cash flow about, but from an energy point of view around the world, not just the wood dragon, we have like immense flying stars. So we have major catastrophe, unfortunately, with our weather and actually with the environment. So April, the dragon month, dragon always shakes things up. Dragons are never a quiet month. Things are always shaken when it's actually a dragon month.
So, Michele, if you're another element, another animal within the Chinese astrology, knowing that there is wood dragon energy around, you can tap into that?
Well, you can, as long as you're not a dog. The every animal has a animal that they clash with, and they also have another animal that they're a secret friend with. So for this month, the animal that clashes with the dragon is actually the dog. So if you're a dog, or you're born in the month of October, that means you're born in a dog month. The dragon and the dog have a clash, which gives you a feeling that you're actually weighed down by responsibility. So you'll be weighed down by responsibility, and you'll feel like you're having to do things that you don't want to do. So, and the dog hour is late in the afternoon as well. So every time it's a dog day or it's a dog hour, people on a whole are actually going to have that hour or two where they go, oh, it's all too much. I'm totally exhausted from this energy. For the rooster, that's actually favourable though, because the rooster is
rooster and the dragon are friends?
Yeah, the rooster and the dragon are actually secret friends. So if you are a dog, you can actually carry the token of the rooster with you, or a picture or symbolization of the rooster to actually appease that clash. Dragon and dog clash does also bring about earth movement, so it does also bring about a clash within the earth and the environment. So I would say that this month there'll be major volcanoes, earth disruptions, landslides. You're going to have an increase in the landslides, anything nuclear ticking off, mountains, volcanoes. Yeah, it's all to do with fire and earth. The clash will be fire and earth this month, and we will continue to have the clash where travel is concerned as well, because we have major tigers a travel star, so that means we have a huge influx of travel incidents throughout the year.
Oh my goodness. Now here's me wanting to travel and thinking, ooh, I'm just...
I know, you're best to pick your month. The major months that aren't favourable for travel, I would say, would be May and also August. May and August, and the reason why these
months 2 months that I'm traveling.
Yeah, I was planning to travel in May myself, but May and August, because what we have this year, because all the animals have, they either combined to bring about favourable elements, or they combined to bring about unfavourable elements. And this year's clash, we actually have what we call a 3 penalty clash this year between the tiger, the snake, and the monkey. So the tiger and the monkey actually have the clash for this year. And what a clash brings about is sudden movement and change. It also brings about usually emotions. The clash is more about emotions. It's more about having to go through situations and deal with things that you don't necessarily want to deal with. You're confronted with issues and you go, really, not today? I don't have time for this. And this is what a clash is. And this clash is playing out throughout the year for the the monkey. And the monkey hour is actually between 3 and 5 every day. So 3 and 5 every day, we actually have this tendency of having to be faced with the traffic or the decision of what we're going to make for dinner.
Pick up
and
from
like,
kids'
really? Not
school,
again?
that sort of,
Pick up kids from school.
Yeah.
But the snake, monkey, and tiger actually, the three of them bring about what is called a fire penalty. So a fire penalty will actually stimulate earth disasters. So it will stimulate anything to do with earth, which is your natural disasters, which is your landslides, it's earth. And it is also a lot of travel incidents, a lot of travel accidents. So this is why we've already seen this year this increase of so much movement within the earth and so much inclement weather, and also so many travel incidents are actually happening.
There's been some helicopter incidents, some light planes, some bigger planes.
Yeah. So it's like birds falling out of the sky.
If you have to travel in the month of August, is there some way that you can assist the energy to be favourable?
Well, normally
other than not travelling.
So we do say keep ahead of the clash. So if you stay really busy, often you can actually keep ahead of the clash. But you do have to be extremely mindful within those times. And May is actually the snake month, and August is the monkey month. So that means it's very easy for those three animals to form the penalty and to actually line up.
And cause monkey business.
And cause monkey business, exactly. So I think August will be the major month for travel, but I do think May will bring a lot of fire incidents and disasters as well. So it's like very much keep your wits about you. There is what the rat actually has what's called a natural disaster star. So every year, each animal has particular stars and energy sitting within them, and that will determine your luck for the year. So the rat has the natural disaster star. The rat for this month sits in the center, but the rat normally sits in the north sector. So this is why, other than the influx of water from the north within all countries and around the world, we actually have the natural disaster star sitting in the north month. Now the rat month is in fact December, so it will mainly affect rats in December. But it was very sad to hear the landslide that we had 2 days ago. When I actually looked at that, the mother and daughter that survived were in fact both rats. And the landslide actually happened in the horse hour, and the horse and rat do have a clash. So I've kind of said to all of my clients, anybody that's got a rat within their chart, that you need to be aware of this natural disaster star. And it's just a natural disaster star. It means things that are out of your control will actually happen in the environment, and you need to keep your wits about you.
So you shouldn't actually fly with a rat in your pocket in May.
No, you're actually probably safer in the air with the rat than on the ground, because most of the natural disasters will actually be
ground-based.
Ground-based. These are like our earthquakes, our landslides, those types of things happen. So threadbow, as an example, would have been a natural disaster star. And it's quite interesting. It's really just having one of those elements around you and having the awareness. So these types of things actually spiked. So if you remember back when JFK died in the air crash with his wife, Jacqueline Buffett, she actually had the clash. So it was actually her that had the clash, and they actually died on a tiger, snake, monkey penalty. So she had the clash. So in fact, if she wasn't in the aeroplane with him at the time, he would have actually survived, because it was her that actually had the clash. So unfortunately, she took down who was around her. We can say the same or similar when Princess Diana died in the tunnel. So that was actually a dog, ox, goat clash. And it was the fact that Diana's life force energy actually came from spouse. So because Jodie was her spouse at the time, as soon as he died, that took out her life force energy. But it was actually Diana that was in clash at that time. So as soon as her life force energy was taken out, and that clash was metal, fire, and earth. So it was the combination. Goodness. It was a car. It was in a tunnel. And so it was the fire element as well. It happened in the ox hour on
How
The dog day, goat
fascinating.
year. So these types of things play out, and this is why we are seeing this increase this year for
Mm-hmm.
natural disasters. And I think my advice to everybody is there's no token. There's nothing you can carry with you to protect yourself
Yes,
from a
that
natural
was my,
disaster.
just
Unfortunately,
be
I've
aware.
researched it. Believe me. But I kind of say to everybody, you just really need to keep your wits about you. Be
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
aware of your surroundings, and
Okay.
just be really mindful of your surroundings, and keep your wits about you for this year.
Okay. When we talk about things that can help, I wanted to touch on cures and strong cures and what they can do in terms of enhancing and quietening energy. And I know that this works because when I first met Michelle, there was a cure that she advised me to use, and it's so simple, but it absolutely helped and worked. Michelle, can you tell the audience about that?
I think you're probably talking about the saltwater cure.
Yes, I am.
So yes, yeah, the saltwater cure. So the saltwater cure is actually a very traditional cure. It came about back when the farmer's calendar came around. So before we actually had feng shui products,
Mm-hmm.
we had to use things that were within our environment and within our surroundings. And this is where a saltwater cure came into play. A saltwater cure is really quite simple. You
It
just grab in
is.
a pint glass or a large jar. You fill it up with rock salt. You put 6 pieces of metal on the top. So
Mm.
generally we use 6 metal coins. So in 6 10-cent pieces, or in China they use the Chinese coins. So 6 coins
Mm.
on the top of your salt, and then you fill it to the top with water.
Mm.
Quite simply, your saltwater cure within a very short period of time will start to grow. So it's
It
fascinating to
does.
watch.
It
It does.
is.
It will
I'm not
start
sure I
looking like a
believed you when
margarita. You'll
I
have a very
know.
slight rim,
I'm
and
not sure
then it will
I'm not
actually
sure I
grow.
believed you, but it that's
Yeah.
actually what happens.
Yes, yeah. And the thing about a saltwater cure is you can actually put a saltwater cure in every room of your house, and it won't actually grow in every room of your house.
No.
But if it is placed in the
No.
correct room where it's needed, then it will grow quite profusely and quite
Mm-hmm.
quickly. So this year, the saltwater cure is used to control any negative earth energy within a home or
Mm.
environment. So the negative earth energy this year actually sits in the center of the world. So it sits in the center of the world and the center of all homes. And it's actually magnified. This month, the wood dragon month of April actually magnifies and multiplies the malicious earth energy that is sitting within the center of homes and the world. So we would expect
Mm.
far more challenges and mishaps, and even total loss within mid centres. So this is
Right.
unfortunately Europe. So from a world point of view, we need to be very mindful of what will happen within Europe this year. But in the centre of most homes is generally a traffic area. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
bedrooms and kitchens and sleeping areas aren't actually in the centre of the home. So
Mm.
sometimes this is easy to control.
Yeah.
Simply place the saltwater cure in the centre of your home, and you treat it like a pot plant. So you keep filling it
Yes.
up with water, and the
Yep.
more it grows, the more it is actually absorbing that negative energy for you. If it grows too profusely and you don't like the look of it, then throw it out and start again.
Start again.
But for this year, all homes actually require a
Should have.
saltwater cure sitting in the
Good.
centre of the home. Okay. The next pocket that a saltwater cure can actually be used is the southwest pocket of your home.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the southwest pocket of the home mainly relates to the matriarch or the old woman of the house. Unfortunately, that means the eldest woman in any home, whether we're young or not, we're still classed as the old woman in the house. So, and
Uh-huh.
the southwest from a Bagua point always relates to the matriarch luck. And it also undermines our love and our relationship luck as well. So we have
Ah.
what is called the sickness and illness energy sitting in the
Mm.
southwest for 2022.
22.
So
Okay.
the southwest should have the saltwater cure, and this
Mm-hmm.
year this month for April, you can also add a saltwater cure to the west pocket of your home as well,
Okay.
because the west has the monthly illness Wellness Flying Star. And that will mainly impact actually roosters. So particularly the older roosters, they have to be very, very mindful of their health for the month of April. But no, saltwater cures, I'm sure we can send out a saltwater cure to people.
Yes, and we've also actually got it. We've actually also got it on the website, clickable as well. The other thing is, Michelle actually, when I did mine, Michelle actually said, if you're worried about it growing, put it in a plate. So I actually had my saltwater cure, which was about, I'll just show you, it was about that size, but I sat it inside a bigger plate because it actually bubbled.
Yes, they do.
So much.
They do. And I always recommend placing a plate underneath it to protect your timber or wherever it's put. Now, a saltwater cure needs to be out in the environment as well. So it's not the type of cure that you can put in a wardrobe or a cupboard or a pantry. It doesn't necessarily have to be seen. So you can actually hide it behind a pot plant, or a photo frame or a cookbook if you want to. So it can actually be hidden, so it's not seen, but it still does actually need to be out in the environment and out in that space. There are other cures that you can use as well. You can use simply a jar of vinegar. So a jar of white vinegar is a really quick and easy cure to use. And the jar of white vinegar is used to control the energy of past luck, of mouth-related issues, gossip and betrayal, theft, robbery, and also anything to do with breathing organs. So remember, COVID is still really quite strong, and we've got winter coming up. So that means in Australia, we've got winter coming up.
Apologies, America.
So that means our breathing organs, flu and COVID is very likely to spike because of the environment. So the jar of vinegar can be placed in the west pocket of your home. So all homes, regardless of where you are around the world, should place the jar of vinegar. And this is like a bottle or a jar of white vinegar with a sealed lid. And you just place it there. It has a sealed lid. And place it in that area. Now, I've actually seen vinegar turn from being clear white to all the way through to a murky colour to a coffee colour. So your vinegar will actually change colour as it takes the hit for you as such. And this is a very strong cure for the Flying Star 7, as I said, because the Flying Star 7 has very negative connotations. It can be placed in the east for this year as well. So the 7 is actually sitting in the east this year and for this month. And the 7 this month will actually affect the rabbit mainly, which will be really quite interesting. In Australia, we're about to have an election. So this is going to be, and this is where like the claws come out, and the 7 brings up all the corruption, all the stories, all the misinformation. So we're about to be hit very strongly with that within this country. So it'll be interesting how many lies are actually told, because that is the energy of the 7.
Yes. Michelle, when you're talking about north, east, west in a home, what's the simplest way for someone to determine their north corner, their south corner, their east, west? Is it standing with your iPhone and the compass out and going, okay, that way is east, that way is...
Yeah, that is the easiest way to do it. Either you can stand smack bang in the middle of your home and look towards your front door, so looking towards the road as such, the front of the property, because then you're already in the middle, and that will directly tell you which direction is north, south, east and west for you. Or you can stand at your front door. So you stand at the front door, at the front of your home. Yes. So not necessarily the front door. Some front doors are to the side. This is actually the facing direction of your home. And the facing direction of your home is generally which direction your home faces the road. So you would stand in front of your home or building or apartment block. You would then face the road, which is the entry point for energy into that building. And you would go, okay, well, I'm standing in this direction. I'm facing north. So that means north is my facing direction, which means south has to be behind
me. And that's where...
And so
that's
south
where
would be my sitting direction. Yes.
Ah.
And that's really the easiest way to do it.
It is. And I tested it out this morning just to see that it was actually as easy as I thought, because I wanted to be able to say that live on air. This is really simple, guys. Just all phones have got a compass. Just do this and you'll find your directions that way.
Yeah.
Something else that's happening in the southwest sector in April. Can you tell us what that is?
The southwest sector in April. Well, the southwest sector in April has the heavenly star, so it does bring in some heaven luck, but it also brings in struggles with power and authority. So there will be that pushback with power and authority in the southwest, which means very strong pushback for women. It means women are going to have a lot more strength and a lot more say for the month of April than what they normally would.
That's good. That's good. And something I read too, that there was something about prosperity, wealth, and abundance in the southwest sector.
Is
that
that is
correct?
because the annual flying star 8 has actually joined the yearly flying star 2. So when we talk about flying stars is just a term that describes energy. So the flying star 2 is what relates to sickness and illness, and the flying star 8 is what relates to current prosperity and wealth. So it's our current cash flow number. So as you know, anywhere around the world, everybody wants the number 8. We want the infinity.
That's why the
symbol.
Chinese like
the Chinese
number
like
8.
the 8. So 8 represents current prosperity. So when we have the flying star 8 flying in and joining the flying star 2, it forms what we call is a Ho-2 combination. So Ho-2 combination forms the number 10 as such, and the number 10 brings wealth and completion luck.
That's good. So
even though we do have that sickness and illness, we have that undermined energy, we still do have the ability to make money. 2 on a plus side is a very strong property and earth related industry number. So 2 and 8 combined, they're both earth elements. So that means maybe southwest facing homes might fetch more in the real estate market this month than what they would next month or last month.
Okay, that's really interesting. I have to tell you something about that later. In the eastern sector,
yes,
it talks, you know that it's got competition and danger. What does that mean?
It has competition and danger. The same, we have the Ho-2 combination of the 7 and the 3, and that also does bring completion luck. So the danger is the flying star 7. So the 7 is malicious. It brings about, it is classed as a blood star, and it also is classed as a military and war star. Now the 7 sits in America, because America is the west pocket of the world. The 7 also sits in Western Australia, because Western Australia is also the pocket of the 7 for Australia. And if you looked at the world map and you actually look at Russia, you would notice that Ukraine actually sits on the west side of Russia.
Oh my goodness.
So the 7 brings in military might, power, and corruption. And this is also why we're having a lot more stabbings and incidents. I think there was one in America only the other day, in California, Sacramento. Okay, that's the 7 sector. That's the west sector of America. So this means we have incidents with knives and bullets, and it's the metal destroying wood, and wood is the bones and the muscles within our body. But the 3 brings in, it was 7 and 3 combined. The 3 actually sits in the east for this year, and the 3 brings about action, movement and change, mainly because it brings about conflict and dissatisfaction. So if we put 7 and 3 together in the east, that brings completion luck, because we have that momentum of being dissatisfied, we have that leadership, we have that storytelling, and that will actually bring completion luck for the east sector.
Okay. So the next thing that I read in when I was reading for this was that residents of the north should lie low for the month of April. What on earth does that mean? And what does that mean for the northern aspects of our house?
Of the house and the world? Well, the north is mainly the rat sector.
It's those rats again.
It's those rats again, and we have a lot of water in the north. And we also have the Flying Star 5. So the North this year has a huge, is sitting in, the water is sitting in the North sector, and the North sector is classed as the water element. And we've had the Flying Star 5 join in the North. So this means, this really undermines the energy for the rat. This really means that we have to be very, very careful. That natural disaster star is definitely going to be spiked, because that Flying Star 5 is joining the water in the North. Okay, so if we put water and we put earth together, we usually get an imbalance with mud. It creates mud. So we do have to be very careful with the North this year, particularly this month.
And does that also refer to like the northern hemisphere versus the southern hemisphere?
It refers to any area north. So this energy of the imbalance of water and earth is coming from the north. So because the Flying Star 5, which brings in loss and calamity, misfortune, has joined the Water Star 1, then we have major inclement weather. We have instability of elements. And when we have instability of elements, that actually unfortunately causes loss. Yes.
Okay. All right. Okay. So that actually makes lots of sense to me. In the South, this is some nice things happening in the South around romance and commercial success. What does that mean? Yes.
Well, the yearly energy for the South is 9, and 9 is a magnification and multiplication number. So that's bringing great victory and success and completion luck actually to the horse. It also is very much about sowing seeds for the future. Now, it's been joined this month by the Flying Star 4, and the Flying Star 4 is all about academic levels and love and relationship luck and people luck. So that means why we've got that magnification of energy, it means the horse's luck is very favourable. It has very strong flower of romance. It's going to be noticed. It's going to be seen. So the South is the pocket this month to actually tap into if you want recognition, if you want to actually be seen, if you're looking to attract, you're single and you're looking to attract
an ideal mate.
You would tap into the South. The South is also always about your fame, your reputation, your recognition and being seen. So by spending time in the South, you can actually really enhance that luck. So the South is actually one of your major pockets to hang out in this month. Your South is favourable. Also, your Southeast is actually really quite favourable as well. The Southwest is kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. But I think the South is very strong and the Northeast is very strong. They're your most favourable pockets and doors to use and sectors to spend most of the time in for this month.
So does that mean that Australia, being in the Southern Hemisphere, can expect a level of commercial success?
Yes, it can. It means that, and already we're seeing with the South, with that Flying Star 4 sitting in the South, and Southeast Asia and Australia obviously sits in the Southeast pocket of the world. We can see this year that we've been thinking more friendly and more logically. So the people power and the movement and the thoughts and patterns of people with the way that they think about things is actually logical, it's intellectual, it's what's the good of all. So we will actually feel that within this country and within the Southeast, particularly for this month.
And so that also probably means that we should all travel to the south of France then?
Possibly.
Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe not. Knowing that travel is not.
I think there's a huge spike in travel incidents this year. So I think you just have to be very mindful. And I think it's the need that everything's open and we can hop on planes and we can travel again. That
doesn't mean we should.
Doesn't mean we should. It is going to cause an influx of travel incidents. So I think everybody needs to be mindful. It would be nice to build that industry, to build the industry and support it. But I think we all need to be mindful, because I think this is a year of major growth and change. It's a year of regrouping and kind of head down. We're really gathering ourselves as we're
feel like that
towards the future. It is. It
does feel like that.
And because there's so much, the energy is so quick, it's so sudden. There's no warning. It's like yang water is like the waves of the ocean. It's like a tsunami. And because there's so much water within this year's chart, all our decisions, all our environment, everything, all the actions are being taken on emotion. It is being taken on emotion, and it's a very quick, sudden shift, change, and movement. So you always need a plan B. So I think you need to stay safe and have plan B.
Yes, that's great advice, having plan B. Now, the other sector that we need to talk about is the Western energy that is likely to be hit with illness and malaise. And that's only in the Western sector, Michelle?
That's that's just the Western sector for the month of April, because we already have the undermined energy of the Flying Star 7. So the 7's already about loss. 7 is, like I said, a blood star, but it also, the 7 relates to the lungs and skin. So it's eczema, it's the increasing rashes, it's also means our breathing organs are undermined. So if we bring the Flying Star 2 in and we combine that with 7, now Earth gives life to metal. So all of a sudden we've got an illness star coming in, and that Earth energy is actually going to spike the negative energy of the Flying Star 7, which increases the risk of breathing organs. So I have said all along that our Western pockets, like Western Australia, like America, even Ukraine, I suppose, are in West pockets. So once that 2 comes in with the 7, that's actually very malicious. It's really quite dangerous. So we do need to keep our wits about us and keep taking those multivitamins.
I'm going to be wearing my mask, I think, after this conversation.
I think it's really nice to talk about lots of happy things. And I know on the news there's not a lot that is happy. My approach with Feng Shui is very much be aware of the energy, be aware of what is actually happening around you. And also always the happy and the positive and the good tend to take care of themselves if we have enough knowledge and control of the negative. So if we can handle the negative and we can be aware of it, we can sidestep it. And I think that's far more powerful than any remedy that you can put in place, because it's taking control of your own destiny. And that's actually the power of Feng Shui and Chinese astrology, is having understanding and feeling that you can actually take some control of it, because there's not a lot in life we have control of.
I know, but it actually gives you thought and meaning around certain things. So there's lots and lots and lots of elements that you've talked about today, around energy and feelings, and I'm like, oh my God, that makes sense now. Oh my goodness, that makes sense now. Oh, right, okay. It actually gives you a bit more confidence around the things that might be happening. And as Michelle knows, we've had some not so great things happen for us personally this month, but listening to how Feng Shui energy is around and in April, I'm like, oh, okay, righto, well, that makes sense. That's okay. I can do something about that, or I can be aware of that and just do those little things that just might keep you a little safer and a little happier and a little
I think everything's with Feng Shui, you look at what your goals are, what action, it's all about action and goals. So if you simplify it back to what do I want out of this month, you can then tap into your most favorable sectors. So as such, if you want good health, you would avoid the west and the southwest. Like if you sleep in a west or a southwest room, you definitely need a saltwater cure. If you can sleep in another room within your home that's not in the west or the southwest, please do so, because you're then taking yourself out of that illness sector. So it's about the manipulation. It's the same with the east. If you've got the choice between entering your home between an east door or maybe a northeast door, choose this month to enter through a northeast door, because that has favorable energy. So that means you're walking the positive and the favorable energy into your home instead of walking in the anger and the conflict and the dissatisfaction satisfaction. So you simply look at flying stars and you look at energy and go, what do I want to tap into? Do I want to be seen? Do I want to be noticed? Do I want that job promotion? If so, put your desk in the south corner of your home. Work from the south, sleep in the south, so that you're actually tapping into that energy, because that's going to
assisting that energy
favorable luck.
Flowing in your life.
Because energy just works like footsteps. It comes in through windows and it comes in through doors, and it's with you. So it's using the environment and making the most of your home.
Absolutely. Before we run out of time, so that I can go and refresh my salt cures, I want to quickly talk about the daily planner, the tips book, your subscription, and your books. Michelle, go.
Okay, well, the subscription's amazing, if I say so myself. The monthly
I love it.
The monthly subscription gives you that rundown of what is happening in every sector and pocket of your home, and around the world, and which cures actually to put in place. So how to navigate your home from a flying star point of view. It also gives a very comprehensive rundown of every Chinese astrology animal. And everyday master. So this tells you what you can do and what is best to avoid for that particular month, from your health, your career, education, business, love life, interaction with people.
And links below, guys. If you're watching, the link will be below.
And then if you're a real avid follower, everything about Feng Shui comes down to date selection, and date selection is extremely important. So I have the daily Feng Shui tips, and the daily Feng Shui tips tells you every day what flying star it is for the day, what animal it's favorable for, which animal it's not favorable for. So whether it's a good day for signing contracts, for moving houses, to hopping on a plane, or right down to whether you should cut your hair today or not. That'll bring you favorable luck.
I find that fascinating.
You also get a tip a day. So you also get, with the daily Feng Shui, you're actually given one free tip a day for you to learn and to work through, which is very similar to my tips journal. So the tips journals, I love my tips journal, because I find that is a really easy way for people to start grasping Feng Shui. And as it's one tip a day, it only gives you one thing to think about. I think when you read a book, you get blown away by so much information and you're not sure what you can act on and what you can't. Where the tips journal gives you the opportunity. Just one thought a day. It's like it gives you that opportunity to just look at that one area of your life and your home, to write your thoughts down and to act on it and action on it if you can. If you can't, don't worry. Turn the page. Like if you can't act on something, you can't act on everything within your home. No home is 100% good Feng Shui, because then we wouldn't learn any lessons and we wouldn't grow. So I really like my tips journal. I really like what I do. I really love sharing my knowledge.
We love talking to you
and helping people
on these shows, Michelle. Now, we've run out of time completely. I want you to connect with Michelle on Complete Feng Shui, her website. You can also, from the links on tonylaunches.com, they take you directly to all of Michelle's books, her tip books, her diaries, her subscriptions, everything, or otherwise. Michelle at completefengshui.com will get you directly in contact with Michelle, and she loves to consult with people all over the planet. That, my friends, is our lot for this week. We've talked so much Feng Shui and Chinese astrology. We are completely out of time. We will be back in a fortnight with some more wonderful information around Feng Shui and Chinese astrology. Thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.